The Kenya Kwanza administration has come under harsh criticism over the manner in which top government officials handle diplomatic issues, especially for the neighboring countries within the East Africa community. Now, the latest diplomatic goof was made by Transport Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen targeting Rwandan President Paul Kagame. The current administration has been involved in diplomatic rows with at least 6 or 5 countries in the East Africa region, as our senior political affairs reporter Chris Tairu now explains. The continuous diplomatic tips may affect trade with Kenya, which Kenya enjoys with the neighbors.
13 months since the taking over the instruments of power, the Kenya Kwanza administration under President William Ruto has been seen to rubbing shoulders the wrong way with its neighbors. Less than a week after government moved to forestall an imminent diplomatic tiff with the Democratic Republic of Congo over remarks by the country's opposition leader in Nairobi, which saw DRC recall its ambassador from Nairobi, Cabinet Secretary for Transport Kipchumba Murkomen has opened another war front with Rwanda over his remarks that the country is governed by an autocracy.
You know, sometimes it's good to compare ourselves with our neighbors, but also it's good to compare ourselves with the best ports in the world. So our focus now, tumewachana na mashindano ya local hapa, ya region. Tunaangalia port ya Singapore na port zingine duniani, tuone tunaweza shindana namna gani.
Although the government of Rwanda, headed by President Paul Kagame, who has governed Rwanda for more than 2 decades, is yet to respond to the remarks, such moves only keep the country on the brink of serious diplomatic wars with the neighboring countries.
So we should not sit here and say, oh, you know, we're doing better than Tanzania, we're doing better than Uganda, we're doing better than Rwanda or Burundi. We must always be moving a step ahead, thinking about what is happening in the world.
In the next few weeks, the High Court will determine if Kenya should go ahead and grant user rights to Uganda for the Kenyan oil pipeline, potentially solving or worsening the ongoing tiff between Nairobi and Kampala over fuel imports. Trade and diplomatic relations between the 2 countries have chilled over the past year, putting into question the state of the initial bromance between Ugandan veteran leader Yoweri Museveni and Kenya's William Ruto. Less than 5 months ago, a Sudanese general accused the Kenyan President William Ruto of favoring the paramilitary forces battling the Sudanese army, after Ruto suggested deploying East African peacekeeping troops to Sudan, analysts stating that such thieves hurt regional efforts to mediate an end to the war in Sudan. Azimio leader Raila Odinga has already accused President William Ruto's administration of messing up the diplomatic relations between Kenya and other countries within the East African community, adding it is the more reason that saw failure by EAC East African community leaders to grace the Jamhuri Day celebrations held at Uhuru Gardens last week. For now, the challenge lies at the doorstep of President William Ruto to ensure that his lieutenants in government do not worsen the already shaking relationship ties with our neighboring countries. Chris Tairu, KTN News, Nairobi.
Now, the head of Presidential Communication Service